Missing the party. Come on.
Greetings, tribe, and welcome to the latest episode of Ortega's Hotplate. Last week, I was in New York City to go see GCW live at the Hammerstein Ballroom, and I had a fantastic trip. I'm going to get into the trip, and I'm also going to get into the show, but there are going to be two completely different episodes because, well, I feel they each deserve their own time. So here we go. Went to work. 8:30 Friday morning. That would have been Friday the 21st of January. I worked until about 10 p.m. that night. We had our regular day as well as a show. So came home, got my shit together, went down to the Trailway Station, got on a bus at 1:10 a.m., took that bad boy to Chicago, got to Chicago just a little after 6, give me 6 hours until my flight takes off. Now, I hadn't been on a plane since like 1995, so I thought I should probably get to the airport as much advance time as possible because I don't know what all kinds of bullshit they got you going through now. And I can tell you this after I got there, it is certainly different from the last time I flew. Got on the train when I got to Chicago, got to O'Hare it takes about an hour from the Greyhound area to the airport. So I got there about 7:30-ish, 8 o'clock. Which is a good thing, because it took me fucking forever to figure out where I was going. Got checked in, and at the check-in, the shoes come off, the pockets get emptied, the coat comes off, the gloves come off, the scarf comes off, everything goes in a fucking bin, and it goes through the fucking radar range, man. And then you go through the x-ray gimmick. Went through, no hassles. Oddly enough, and I have to say this, and it's not that I care, and I had forgotten completely about this, but I passed through not only O'Hare's security, but also LaGuardia's security, which did take my soda out of my bag, and they did not do that in O'Hare. They did take my soda out of my bag at LaGuardia. But, so, I completely forgot I even got this stupid little gimmick. It's a credit card pocket knife. And it fucking has this little locky deal, and a blade folds up, and does this fucking trick fucking thing. You know, in case of emergency muggings or something, you got this gimmick in your wallet. Well, let me get my wallet out for you, and like, and you stab them. This made it through TSA twice. Do with that information what you will. Like I said, I completely forgot I had this motherfucker in my wallet. I've never really used it. Something I got off fucking Wish. Sorry, I'm one of those fucking dudes, man. Airports are huge. They take a long time to find your way through if you're not used to going there. The check-in process was really actually painless. Wasn't nearly as intrusive as I thought it was going to be. I mean, they're doing a great job getting stuff through, checking everything, and they're really looking for serious shit. Like, I had weed on me. They didn't touch it. I figured the worst would be I had to throw it away. Whatever. I took that risk. They got it in New York just in case, right? So fuck it. Anyway, I made the weed through. I made the pocket knife through in O'Hare. Had a brief instance where I had sat down to eat a Dunkin' Donuts breakfast muffin, which was quite tasty. And after eating it, I left my phone plugged in on the little fucking table charger stand there, and I got about 6 gates away before I realized it. And as I went running back, I realized my fucking phone ain't where I left it. Oh, fuck, what are we going to do? This is a big airport. There's a lot of people here. How am I going to find this? How are we going to track it down? I can't call nobody. Fuck. Rest assured, as I was walking away the first time, I remember passing a janitorial dude with like the fucking push bucket with the stuff hanging on it. You know, the janitor fucking wheelbarrow, whatever it is. As I came back and see it's gone, he has passed there. So I'm just like, janitor dude, my phone was here. Did you see it? And he looks at me like I'm an idiot. And then turns, looks back down the hall and goes, hey, Tom. And Tom, who's like fucking 6.5 foot fucking tall in his fucking nice Delta airport suit, steps out and he goes, "Phone?" I'm like, "Yeah, I'm the dumbass who lost his phone." And he says, "Can you identify it?" And I'm like, "There's a black dot sticker on the back." Sure as shit, black dot sticker. This must be your phone. "Thank you, sir." Carry on about my day feeling like a dipshit. Sorry, man, I had to eat quite a few gummies to get the anxiety down to get on the plane because it's been a while since I've been on one and I was nervous, okay? Sue me, I was fucking nervous. Anyway. Plane's on time. Everything's cool. I go through the thing and I get on, and of course the closer as I'm walking down the little fucking tunnel to get on the plane, I can feel like a fucking heart starts beating. I'm like, God damn it, this is going to suck so bad. I'm going to have a fucking heart attack on the airplane. I'm not going to even make it to New York, so I'm going to die in flight. So I reach the entryway to the plane. The flight attendant greets me, says, "Hello, sir. Welcome to Delta." And I'm like, "Thank you. This is the first time I've been on a plane since 1995. She goes, "Sir, you'll be just fine." And I'm like, "I hope so." Went to my seat, thought nothing of it, sat down, opened the window, and looked out over the airport. And I'm like, this is all right here, being airplane height off the ground. But I've got an issue with heights, as some of you may know, and I get a little vertigo sometimes. But I'm good right now. My flight attendant comes up, taps me on the shoulder. She says, "The rest of the flight crew and I have been talking, and since it's been so long since you've been on here, we thought we'd do something that might help alleviate your stress. So, we would like to give you this and, welcome you to the Delta family." Got my fucking wings, bro. They gave me my fucking wings on the airplane. And I'll tell you what, that simple, goofy, corny gesture was also done out of a place of like real kindness and concern for my well-being. And as soon as that happened, I laughed about it. I'm like, "Thanks a lot. I appreciate that. Ha ha ha." I could literally feel stress wash away from me. Wash. Not all of it. Some of it, but enough to make me less fucking like in my seat. Now, right before takeoff, same flight attendant comes up, says, "Excuse me, sir. We also would like to give you this." So she hands me a Ziploc bag, and in this Ziploc bag is a little snack gimmick, some shortbreads covered in dark chocolate, a couple little bags of almonds. Now there's some kind of fruity, fucking chewy gimmick thing in there. And then my first flight certificate in a long time, and this postcard. We know it's been a while since you've been on an airplane, so we appreciate you trusting us with your travel. We hope to see you back sooner than later. Your New York City crew, DL363, Rachel, Tony, and Jenna. And I really appreciated this. And apparently, DL363 is also the best New York crew. Now, my crew on the way back may argue that, but that's for them to settle in the airport crew wars that go on in the, loading bins and luggage compartments of planes. It's an underlying thing I'm sure we knew nothing about, the old airport underground fight club. But, again, those gestures really did help alleviate my stress. It was a lot more pleasant experience. So, I'm good. I'm relaxed. We're good. Plane's going to take off, and we're good. We're taxiing down the runway. And I'm looking out the window. I'm like, gee, this is kind of cool. And we got off the ground a little bit. I'm like, this is kind of cool. And we got off the ground a little bit more, and I looked, I'm like, this ain't so fucking cool no more. So I shut it. And I waited a little while. I'm like, why, we're certainly high enough now that I can look out the window, right? So I looked out. And that's when you can see all the buildings and shit still down below you, really tiny. And in your brain, you're like, that's a really long way to fucking fall. And then I feel everything kind of come up and get all weird, and I get the vertigo, and I realize we're just going to have to shut the fucking window and let it be. Also, I've seen that fucking Twilight Zone episode with Shatner and the movie, and I know what happens. They got them little weird fuckers that hang out on the goddamn wings. That's what the don't step on the wing was about, so the fucking little monsters don't get their toes pinched when they're fucking with people like me up in the airplanes. The airports, the technology to fly, aliens, little monsters, come on, think about it. Think about it with me. Think about it with me, will you please? So anyway, I get off on tangents, as we all know. My plane flight was absolutely stellar. No issues, no problems. Got into New York City on time. And I only thought O'Hare was a pain in the ass to get around until I got to LaGuardia Airport. That's a big motherfucker, man. It's a great big son of a bitch. Now, leaving isn't nearly as hard as going back and trying to find where you're supposed to go, because you're leaving, you just look for a fucking exit sign, and eventually you're, good. So found my way out of LaGuardia. Got on the bus, city bus. It took me down to a random train station in New York where it loops just from that fucking subway station back to the airport and back to the airport and back. So it does all day, which is good. You know where to go and you can get on your shit. From there, I got on the subway. Took the subway over to by where my Airbnb was. Now I come out of the subway, up the steps, and I look across the street and I'm like, is that Madison Square Garden? Am I that close to Madison Square Garden? Fuck yeah, that's Madison Square Garden. That's crazy. I've never seen it in real life, So what? And it's a legendary venue. And it was cool to see a place that I've seen so much historical stuff happen in, and also so much stuff's taken place that I didn't even see, but just knowing its place in sports and entertainment history, not to be associated with sports entertainment, which yes, the WWE and WF did do tons of shit there. So it is sports entertainment history, but that's what I was talking about. I was talking about more like basketball and hockey and well, yeah, wrestling too. So yeah, sports and entertainment is what I was talking about. No, I turn around and look behind me, and there's the sign for the fucking Manhattan Center where the Hammerstein is. I'm like, fuck, how did I score this badass Airbnb next to all this cool shit for such a ridiculously low price? How did I do it? Luck? I don't know. Fucking, I was going clickety click and it worked out. Shit like that happens for me sometimes. Beyond that, walk down the street about 5 blocks, there's my Airbnb, and I go and check in this place, and it was different than anything I've ever experienced. It kind of reminded me of jail. It kind of reminded me of a barracks, and it kind of reminded me of the halfway house. Now, don't get me wrong, perfectly acceptable place to stay, especially for the price. And what these folks are doing is they got this older building, and you go to the buzzer, you hit the buzzer, and someone comes to let you in. You go up to the second floor. Second floor is where the offices are. Second floor is where the common area is. There's a kitchen, full kitchen, refrigerator, fruit, all kinds of shit laying around just for you to eat whenever, if you're down there, want to hang out, not be in your little room, kind of have like a living room area, but you got to share it with other people. That's cool, though, because you might meet somebody new and cool, and, and that's osmosis of society, and that's how we learn about other people and how things can be different outside of our own little bubble. Osmosis. I talk about it all the fucking time. I was talking about it yesterday with a friend of mine. I'm talking about it now. Deal with it. Anyway, so they've got 3 floors of rooms. Now, these rooms are, I would say, well, let me take a look here. So my arm is sort of about my elbow. These rooms are 4 feet or less wide, probably 6 foot long. I'm maybe just a hair past that. So if you're tall, you're gonna have a hard time sleeping in bed. And literally all there was a single bed right here, about half the width of that, empty space. There's a shelf above the bed. There's a little nightstand with a light on it, 1 outlet, and that's all I fucking needed. All I was doing there was sleeping and changing clothes anyway. They take their profits from the Airbnb and use it to provide meals for the homeless folks. You can actually go with them to help serve meals to the homeless. They'll give you a discount on the room. I'm sure they're doing stuff where they're helping, people who are hard times. I'm sure there are people there that live there in exchange for doing the mopping and so on and so forth. And that's why I kind of got the jail vibe, because I got up in the morning, a dude was mopping the hall, and I was just like, oh, you got mop duty today. Next day it'll be fucking block 9. Next day it'll be block 10, or however that fucking works. But again, I nothing bad to say about it. The people that ran it were nice. Everybody that worked there was nice. The brief interactions I had with other folks staying there, more than pleasant. And again, close to a lot of cool shit, close to the train, just wonderful, wonderful experience that I had there. So get to my Airbnb, check in, do all my shit. So now it's time to head over to the Hall of Fame gimmick. It was in walking distance to the Airbnb. It was less than a mile, and maybe it was like 10, 15-minute walk. Well, it took me about 40 minutes because I kept getting myself lost because thinking I knew what I was doing and not knowing what I was doing. I can get around most places pretty well. New York City gets a bit overwhelming because it's really tall and it all looks a lot the same. And I kind of get my east-west mixed up a little bit if I don't have some, points to go on. Like I can get around Chicago with no fucking problems. New York, it's been a while since I've been there. I did know my way around the neighborhoods I used to hang out at when we'd play out there, so we get to that. Anyway, go to the Hall of Fame thing. Walk in and I feel completely underdressed in my fucking standard wrestle gear and flannel and hoodie. Lots of suits, lots of people very well dressed, and I felt kind of like a fucking dickhead. And then I saw some other people who were more underdressed like me and thought, okay, cool, because we are wrestling fans, and I don't think anybody expects us all to show up in suits, especially for me to carry a suit in my one tiny shoulder bag to be in New York for like fucking 38 hours. Anyway, so I got my own little table. I could see the ceremony great. It was super cool. Learned a lot about some of these folks that I didn't know much about that were being inducted in the Hall of Fame. Chris Hero came out and had some stuff to say. CM Punk was there. Sean Waltman was there. It's just some real wrestling royalty in a scenario where you're not used to seeing them, It's not TV. It's not some big gala, fucking however you say it, fucking event. It's really small and intimate, but they're still there because it's about fucking wrestling, and that's what they're about too, is the wrestling. And getting some of these people some recognition that they're not going to get in the industry because they're not, not that the industry doesn't care, it's just the industry doesn't really have the thing, but we do now. But you've got the WWE Hall of Fame, and it's a fucking joke. It doesn't mean anything. It's a fucking like, oh, you put up my shit for enough time, we'll give you a fucking ring thing. I still love WWE. I haven't watched it regularly. It's been very, very bad lately, but it's always going to be part of my life. When something's part of your life for like fucking 40 fucking years, it's kind of hard to just shake it off. That being said, Hall of Fame ceremony was incredible. I was so glad to be there and be part of it. It was easily well worth my fucking ticket money to go, and going out a little earlier than I would have just to be there for that. Spoke with MLJ quite a bit. Just super fucking cool guy. And it's like nice being able to talk to him and like bullshit a little bit to the point where like even the next day when he saw me, he's like, "Hey man, how you doing?" And it was cool to have that little back and forth with him. Now, Hall of Fame thing gets done. Had an incredible time. Did some glad handings. Oh, nice to meet you. Thank you very much. Blah blah blah. That kind of shit. And my buddy Andy Davis hit me up, and he was coming over from Brooklyn to be over in the Manhattan so we could hook up. So I met him at this place where he used to work. We had a couple drinks there. Now, the highlight of this is we're there, and he says, "Hang on, man. I'll be back in 10 minutes. Don't go anywhere." I'm like, "What?" And he goes, "I'll be back in 10 minutes. I'm going to get you something." I'm like, "All right." So he disappears. Comes back in about 10 minutes. He's like, "Eat this." And he hands me this, like, wrap roll kind of gimmick. It's a little longer than your normal, like, I guess maybe it looked longer because it was so narrow, but, like, about yay long. I don't know, fucking however long yay long is. About wide as my fucking chest. It's wide as something. About, this rolled up. It had chicken in it. It's a finely sliced red onion. This wonderful fucking habanero chutney sauce thing. And it was fucking hot. But it was so fucking good. It was like that borderline of being almost too much heat, but it never crossed the line. It just got to where it was always like where you think, but it never got there. The funniest thing to me is like I'm halfway through this fucker. And if any of y'all know me, you know I fucking hate raw fucking onions. I fucking hate them. Ingredient, not a topping. They go on things and in things. They go in things, not on things. That's what I meant. They go in things, not on things. I guess it went in the roll, so maybe that's why. Anyway, I'm halfway through eating this fucking gimmick, and I'm like, that's fucking really finely shaved red onion. And there's, and I pulled it out, I'm like, I fucking hate raw red onion. I hate raw any onion. And Andy's like, "Man, I'm sorry. I should have got it with that." And I'm like, no, here's the thing. I'm halfway through this before I realized they were there, and you know what? Don't give a fuck that they're in there, and just continue to eat this delicious, spicy, burning chicken love. This is the card for the place. If you're in New York City and you're in Manhattan, find your way to 112 McDougal Street and get yourself one of these fucking chicken wrap fucking gimmicks, man. Now I've got to figure out how to try and make something similar to this. I'm basically probably going to call this place like, hey man, I had your shit when I was there from Iowa. Can you just give me an idea of what maybe goes on in that? Because I know there's a mango or a habanero chutney. That I can probably figure out. I just want to make sure I have all the other ingredients with the chicken, red onion, maybe if there's sprouts, something in there. I just want to make sure I got all the things right before I attempt to make it. But I will tell you this. Next time I'm in Manhattan, I'm making a special jaunt over here to McDougal Street to get myself another one of these motherfuckers, I'll tell you what. That shit was crazy good. From there, we rolled over this legendary bar called Rudy's, where you can get a Mexican beer in a can, a shot of Sauza Silver for $6, and a free fucking hot dog. Yes, hot dog free with drink purchase at Rudy's. Giant pig out front will greet you. It's in Hell's Kitchen, and I wish I would have had some more time to spend there. And also, I wish I had some more money there. I probably had some more time to spend. But I had a good time. It was nice hanging out with my boy Andy. I thank you again for hooking me up and teaching me about that roll. I can't wait to see one again sometime down the road. I went back to my Airbnb. At this point, I still have not slept from when I left and got up to go to work at 8:30 when I started this story at the beginning of this fucking cast. So I'm up 8:30 to 8:30. That's 24 to 8:30 is 36 to 12:30 is 40 and 3. So yeah, like 43 hours, like 40 hours, give or take. Basically up straight. Like I nodded off on the bus for a second, nodded off on the plane, but nothing substantial, nothing I would even call sleep, just like that nod for a couple minutes. Basically 38, 40 hours non-stop. Get to the Airbnb, boom, crash. Now I had a lot of designs on doing a lot of shit on Sunday afternoon before the show and getting all this stuff in, and you know what? I miscalculated. For one thing, my body needed rest, and I was not going to deny myself that. So I did not get up and around at the 10:30, 11 a.m. point where I was planning on it. It was more like the 2:30 p.m. time. I did not get to go to a bunch of the hot dog spots I wanted to. I did not get to go to the Seinfeld spots I wanted to. And you know what? That's okay. I'll be back in New York again. I'll get there sometime. It'll be fine. I'm fine. Effie's fine. New York is fine. And, you know, it's the thing. Like, there's only so much time in the day, and I miscalculating train times and this and that. Had a lot of big plans. But here's the thing. The stuff I did get done, I'm still happy with. I didn't necessarily get everything done I wanted to, but I certainly got everything done I needed to, because I got a lot of stuff done that just, like, hit me here in the heart and the soul, you know, made me feel really good. There's some depressing things, but that's also part of the feels, man. You got to have the down to know the up, you know what I'm saying? So I get up, get on the train, and my first thing is I have to go to 137th Street, which is the Manhattan Police Department, where the Manhattan Special Victims Unit is actually located. Now, I did not have the wherewithal to go inside because I have a bad time with police. I'm sure it would be fine, but I'm also sure there's hundreds of people who hit them up all the time and just want to come in and see it, and I get it. And maybe next time I go, I'll be like, hey guys, I'm coming into town. I'm sure you get this all the time, but can my stupid ass come by and just get a picture in front of the wall or something? They may be cool with it, maybe not. They got real shit to deal with. They ain't got time to fucking deal with clowns like me wanting to come fucking see the place where their favorite TV show is based on and not even really shot. But I got my picture out front of fucking the old fucking SVU, and that was pretty cool. Now from there, I can tell, hey, I'm pretty close to where the area I'm familiar with, so I'm just gonna head over that way. So I start walking. I'm heading over. I want to go past where my buddy Davey used to live, because that is like a key focal point from his old apartment. I can find my way around this entire area of New York City. And I remember one time we were out there hanging with Davey. He went to this dumpling house just down the street from his place, and like he ate there like it was one of those things that he'd ate there enough in the few times we were out there that I was like, so what's the deal with that place? And at the time he's like, you get 8 of these for like $2. And a big fat dumplings, fried and steamed. Place is still there. It's called Vanessa's. They've expanded their menu from what they used to do. From what I remember, it was used to be just dumplings, but full place now. But it's still there. And when I saw Vanessa's, I knew I was close to Davy's place. And the cool thing is, I'm walking up, I'm like, I think it's the next block. And I see this mural on a wall by a parking lot, and I fucking instantly recognize it because I have a photo of that same mural that I took over 20 years ago on one of those little fucking Kodak disposable fucking gimmicks. But I recognize it. I'm like, man, I have a photo of that. So Davies is just around the corner. It was cool to see that mural was still there, still looked decent. You know, it stood the test of time. And it was also kind of a welcoming, hey, you're back where you recognize kind of moment. And I thought that was really fucking cool. So I cruise down. I actually have to message Davey and be like, what was your fucking address? I can't quite tell which place it was. And as soon as he did, it was like, yeah, that's the fucking one. I remember now. His old apartment, which was a storefront apartment, basically had a couch, a bunch of recording shit in it, tiny fridge, didn't even have a kitchen. But it was, you know, it's New York City, and you're a musician, and you're a sound guy, and you do what you do, and like, fuck whatever. It was a cool fucking place. Spent some good hours there. But it's a place now called Spaghetti Incident. It's a little tiny restaurant. It's got about 4 tables in it. I hope the guy's doing well. It was a cool little kitschy little place. If I'd had more time, I may have gone in and grabbed a bite to eat. I don't know. Saw that, but from Davy's place, I knew exactly where I was. And from that point, I had to go see the Mars Bar, or where it was, and CBGB's, or where it was, and the Continental Club, or where it was. And I did this. The Mars Bar is now a bank, or giant banking institution. CBGB's, that area, that storefront, as it were, is now part of like, there's like all 4 storefronts are like this huge fucking restaurant, and it's kind of fucking gross. And I'm pretty sure I figured out where the window is. It would be the front of CB's. And if you see some photos when I do the thing, it'll be like where the fucking, like the bicycles are parked. I may overdub them here into the video. For the video people who are watching, for the audio, you can't see it, obviously. But you can hear it. You can hear the pain of the building from being formerly CBGB's and now being this shitty restaurant. Who knows, it might be a good restaurant. Regardless, work our way down the street to where the Continental was. The Continental is not a restaurant. It is not a bank. It is nothing but an empty, open lot with chain link fence around it where nothing stands right now. All of these things are depressing. I had some really great moments as a band person at these places, performing, hanging out with friends, and just like having it be part of my past. We all have memories, and they're fucking great. The thing is, everything changes. My hometown, my whole little town of 800 people, it's not the same place it was when I grew up. Hell, when I left when I was 20, it wasn't the same place it was when I was 10. And that's just a little fucking town that doesn't ever really evolve, but it did. Places evolve. Restaurants close. Bars close. Shit gets torn down. The mill's fucking gone. That's the way it fucking is. Sorry. It's fucking part of life. Have your memories, but stop fucking yank about what should have been and what could have been, what was happening, what you didn't know because you didn't fucking know what you're talking about anyway. That's a whole other thing. Have your memories. Understanding, though, that life is full of change. Things progress, evolve, erode, destroy, rebuild, all of that. Nothing's going to be the same as it was. I mean, there's some things like really like hang in there, like, you know, certain businesses are just always going to hang tight. But eventually, it's still going to change. The building will erode to where it can't stand. They'll have to move to a different location. Whatever it is, change is inevitable. Have your memories. Enjoy those moments. But stop being angry about it and acting like someone took something away from you. Because no one took anything away from you. It's just a natural progression of time. Now, right across from where the Continental was, there's a pizza place called Ray's. Now, it's not Ray's Famous. It's not Famous Ray's. It's Ray's, and I don't know how many fucking Ray's there are that make pizza in New York City. There's a lot of them. The only reason I went to this place and grabbed a slice, and as I walked by and I looked in, I remember being there 20 fucking years, give or take, before. And I looked in and I saw the tables were in the exact same spot they were. Now remember, I just talked about change. This thing hasn't changed yet. It will. I'm sure it will. But beyond that, I look back there and I fucking remember, man. I remember me and Big John going in there and getting a fucking slice, man. I remember the table we fucking sat at. I remember fucking just like it was fucking like a week ago and it's not 20 years ago. And you know, John's not with us anymore, man. He's my best friend I ever fucking had. And we lost him a couple years ago, and it sucks. But I have my memories. And this one I could actually go in. I went in. I got myself a slice of cheese. I slid back in that fucking corner booth where we had sat fucking so many years ago. Fucking folded that fucking slice, tipped it to the sky, and took my fucking bite. Ate my shit, man. There was something for me to have there from my past. It's not always going to be there. I keep saying this shit because I keep tired of fucking arguing about it on Facebook. That's a whole other fucking story. Got my slice. Made my way down St. Mark's to Criff Dogs. Now, Criff Dogs is a place I had read about years and years and years ago, and it was on my fucking radar. It is the one hot dog place that I had on my list to go to that I actually fucking went and got to. And I'm so glad I did. At 52 years of age, I had my first hot dog with sauerkraut on it. And because I'm an idiot, I basically just never ate sauerkraut because my grandma used to make cooked cabbage, and cooked cabbage stunk up the house, and I knew I didn't like it. And I just associated sauerkraut with cooked cabbage, and they're not the same thing. Sauerkraut's basically like pickled cabbage, and I like everything fucking pickled, so why wouldn't I like sauerkraut? Somehow or another, this fucking went on for half a century. Regardless, I got my sauerkraut on my hot dog. Criff Dogs, fucking stellar fucking hot dog, man. Also, the place, like, there's a phone booth in the wall. Old place, well, that's cool to go to an old phone booth. And a couple went in, and I thought they were just getting kitschy and getting a photo in it. I didn't think much about it. I'm sitting there eating, doing my thing. And then I realized somebody else came in and went in there, and I'm like, what? I saw like 5 people go in this fucking phone booth, but no one come out of the son of a bitch. So as I'm going up, I'm just like, hey, thanks. I really enjoyed my hot dog. Blah, blah, blah. I've always wanted to come here. What's up with this fucking phone booth over here? And apparently, you go in and shut the old wood door, and then there's a panel that you have to be able to figure out how to get open, and it leads to a secret bar that's in the building next door, which is cool as shit. I did not have the time to check it out. The Criff Dog was so good. When I go back to New York City, I will definitely go to Criff Dogs again, and I'm going to investigate this sneaky little bar through the fucking phone booth in the wall. Because shit like that intrigues me. I want to go to weird places like that. I want to go off the beaten path, as they say. When I got done at Criff Dogs, I had about maxed for the day on being able to get shit done. I only had like an hour and a half where I wanted to be over at Hammerstein plenty of time to avoid a huge line, to maybe get in early being on Patreon and stuff like that if we could, and also just to get in there and have as much time in the building to soak it in as I could. So we got on the train. I didn't even go back to my Airbnb. I went straight to Hammerstein, got in line, and went in. And all I'm going to tell you about this is I went to the motherfucking Hammerstein Ballroom. I got to see GCW there live. I got to see history being made in a historical building where I've watched hundreds of moments happen and occur. Where I've known hundreds of moments to happen and occur that I didn't see. The place is just, it's one of those places that just, it has a spot in the business, man. It has a spot. It's like, it's a place, man. It's got fucking gravity. It's got weight. It means something. And from the moment I walked in that room, I was fucking overwhelmed, like almost to tears, because I'm just like, I can't fucking believe I'm in this room. I would have paid $100 to just walk in that room and check that fucking room out, because it's got that much history in my life to me, like stuff that's happened there. I'm like, fuck yeah. But now I'm here and it's fucking packed, man. And it's packed with 2,000 plus motherfuckers who are there just like me for the same goddamn reason. They fucking love wrestling and they know what this moment means. They know what it means for the company. They know what it means for the talent. They know what it means and the fucking impact that's going to have on the fucking business itself. It was overwhelming. There were several moments during the show where I started to just tear up and cry because I was so fucking happy, whether it be from the fucking energy of the crowd or seeing one of these wrestlers come out and you could see it on their face how much it meant to them. It was a great experience. I'll cover it later. So, we were at GCW at the Hammerstein. We watched the fucking show. I bought some merch. I talked to Effie, talked to Dante Leone, I talked to Kevin Gill, I talked to a bunch of fucking wrestlers, and it was awesome. But then you know what? All good things come to an end, my friend. The time was calling. I had to get back out to LaGuardia. Rolled down to my Airbnb, packed up all my shit, except for my fucking scarf I left there, which I think might be coming back to me. We'll see. Jumped on the train, took my ass back out to LaGuardia. Now here's one thing that freaked me out. I get to LaGuardia at like 2:30, quarter to 3 a.m. My plane was at 5:30, something like that. I can't remember the exact time. So I get there and I go and I'm walking. I'm like, man, it's awful quiet in this airport, but you know, it is that kind of late at night, but still. Seemed overly quiet for that time of morning. Get up to where the gate is and the guy's like, oh, they open at 4. Excuse me? Oh, they open at 4. So there's no air traffic apparently. Well, at least on this, at least at the Delta gate. Now, I don't know about any other gates, but at the Delta gate, there was literally nobody working, and me and these other 3 people were like basically standing there for 2 hours waiting on people to show up to go to work. Now, this just seems odd to me in an airport of that size and that stature. There was no concession places to go snack at. There was just nothing except to stand there and wait. There wasn't even a fucking chair to sit in while we waited, man. There wasn't a bench. There wasn't shit. You just stood there and waited. Anyway, so they get open. We get going through the fucking gimmick, and we go through the same thing and take the shoes off and the whole nine. Now, they did take my soda here, and it's like I completely didn't even think about it because it's a fucking soda. What is it? He's like, well, you can't have this. But I can throw that one away and walk 10 feet and buy a brand new one just like it for $3. Whatever, and that's exactly what I did. So I gotta get my diet due, man. I gotta get my diet due in, man. I gotta get my diet due in, Johnny. So while we were there, there's a guy there. He's in wrestling gear. He had flown out from Chicago. Recognized me from the show because of my orange bandana. We bullshitted a little bit, you know, exchanged social medias and stuff. And we'll probably hook up another show because, like, we go to a lot of the same shit. Nice fucking dude. It was nice to have someone to chat to, help kill the fucking time. Our plane did get delayed by a couple hours because of a snowstorm in Chicago. Fine and dandy. Except then I have to change my bus from Chicago to Iowa City back because I'm not going to make it to my bus time. Fortunately, when I had the bus incident the week before and I had to switch all this shit around, I kept the number to the main office and I kept the girl's name who helped me, who was Christina. Now, Christina, I called directly when I knew this was happening. Because when I called the Trailways, they were going to charge me $20 to change my ticket, even though, and it's not their fault. The flight got delayed; it had nothing to do with them, so it does not on them. I just thought maybe I wouldn't get charged the, switch the thing charge because of some. Oh man, we understand, fucking shit like that happens and it sucks. So we're just going to give you this slide. Wasn't going to do that. It was going to cost me the $20 to exchange my ticket. Call Christina. She just slid it right through, just like baking grease on a pan, man. Right through there. Got my ticket changed. Took my flight back from New York. I got back into Chicago about, what was it? It was about 11:30, noonish, I think, when we got back finally. So, got off the plane. Got on the train, took the train back in to Logan Square, got up at Logan Square, went to the Ascend Mocha dispensary because I've been there before and they do damn fine work with their distribution of cannabis goods. Hit that, grab some stuff to bring back for a couple people, get to Trailways, and I got some time to kill. I need something to eat because I haven't fucking eaten hardly at all. I haven't eaten since that fucking hot dog and that slice. I haven't eaten since that Criff dog. So, literally, fucking close to, 18 hours, whatever. Long time since I eat. I'm like, I gotta get some fucking food in my gut. I was gonna go to Manny's, but I didn't think I had time. And had I known my fucking bus was gonna leave an hour and 20 minutes late, I would have gone to Manny's. But I didn't. I went to Portillo's. And I finally got the Portillo's Italian beef. There's a Snackin With Ortega little gimmick with it gonna be up soon. Go check that out. Portillo's, back to the Greyhound. Greyhound, back to IC. Got out, was so happy to be back home, and no, I was happy to be back home because you're happy to be back home. You know, it's like, all right, this trip's done. But one thing, man, that hit me. I'm walking down the street in New York City. I really like traveling. I really, really like traveling. I like just going places and experiencing new places, experiencing new people, experiencing new foods, just experiencing new experiences. I wish I could go all the time because when I'm out and I'm doing that thing, man, I feel I'm in a better place. It's like I'm excited. There's no stagnation to it. And I understand we all got to work fucking jobs. We got bills to pay and shit to do. But I'm telling you, man, if I get some like fucking Publishers Clearinghouse money or something, I would be on the go all the goddamn time, man. Food and wrestling, that would be my thing. I'd just be touring around checking out food and wrestling and people and life and experiencing it. And, you know, hopefully I get to do more of that. I get to go to Dallas in April. I'm going back up to Chicago for GCW in April. I might be going to Detroit. Not sure. All I know is I went to New York City. I had a great fucking time. I didn't get done everything I wanted, but I got plenty done that made me feel good. I'm in a better place emotionally and spiritually since being there. And every time I go to something, it helps boost me up a little bit more. So I always hope I can continue to do these things and keep myself at a level. And also, you know, meeting those new people and having that fucking, what do you say? What do we call it? Osmosis, baby. Yeah, that osmosis with society and humanity and the world and all that. And bringing this part in over here and helping change this part of me and giving part of me over there and help change a part of that over there, man. And that's what it's all about. The more osmosis, the better your experience. The more your fucking experience you have, the more you understand different things in life, and it just gives you a more well-rounded view of everything. And I know I'm babbling and going on, and this is probably the longest fucking clip we've ever done, but I did something special, and my real point here is to relay to you how much special this was to me and all the good that came out of it. And it wasn't expensive. My fucking round trip plane ticket to New York City was $116. My Airbnb was $50 a night. My show ticket was $216. But that's not the point. The point is you can travel. You can go places. You just got to find the way. I happened to find a website that got me great flight deals. My round trip to Dallas has costed me $100. I'm not going to tell you where it's at. If you want to DM me and ask, I'll gladly pass this information on to you for your travel experiences later on in life. But for now, my buddy Dan's in town. I want to check in with him before he leaves because he's only here for a couple days before he goes back to Portland. Haven't seen him for a long time. Want to check in with him, see how he's doing. Thank you for stopping by the Hacienda. Thank you for sharing this with me or letting me share it with you. Like I said, there's going to be an episode specifically on the show from Hammerstein. There's going to be some more shows coming up. Again, I'm trying to do this more often. So I know I repeat myself and I say again and 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 again like a fucking Tom Kajenik, and he's glad that you're here to see a film. Thank you for stopping by the Hacienda. Thank you for listening to Ortega's Hot Plate. Stay tuned for more content. We've got at least 2 more shows coming out in the next 10 days. Look over on the YouTube channel. Check out Snackin With Ortega. Look for some more little gimmicks I got coming up. Go out. Experience life, man. Enjoy shit. Don't keep yourself locked in a bubble. Go get some osmosis in your life. I'm Ortega Latrobe, and this has been Ortega's Hot Plate.
I love Ortega's sauce. It makes my taco pop.